This is the game played between Magnus Carlsen and John Christoph Duda. Magnus Carlsen is playing white and Duda is playing black. Carlsen played b3, that is to put the dark squared bishop on a long diagonal and to pressurize the king side. d5. d5 is a solid move that takes control of the center after white's first move. Knight f3. Knight f3 is a book move. This develops the knight and attacks the center. Knight f6. Knight f6 is also a book move. This develops the knight towards the center, supports the d5 pawn and controls the e4 square. Bishop b2. Bishop b2 puts the bishop in the long diagonal and the move is called a finchanta. Bishop f5. Bishop f5 is also a book move, developing the bishop and increasing influence in the center. Knight h4. Knight h4 is to drive away the bishop or get it exchanged for the knight. Bishop d7. Bishop goes to a better square and it moves away to safety. e3. e3 is also a book move, prepare the bishop for development and also the queen. c5. c5 is best. With this push, black grabs the central ground and opens line for further development of knight and queen. c4. c4 is a dubious move, but correct and best move is knight f3. e6. The only best move on the board is d4 and black didn't spend much time finding it out. Bishop e2. Bishop e2 is the best by test. The comment was made by Bobby Fischer long back. Bishop e7. Bishop e7 found by Maislo, the Russian champion, long back. The bishop joins early and building up a strong opening for black makes way for castling. Carlsen castles, so as Duda. Knight f3. Now the knight reached the best square because it controls more squares from this place. Usually people say knight in the rim is knight in the dustbin. Knight c5. Knight c5 a good move, it's a developing move and the knight attacks the center. d4. Now Carlsen played the best move on the board. c into d4, e into d4. Rook c8. Rook c8 is the best move. This gives more flexibility in the middle game. Knight b d2. Knight b d2 is a very good move, still keeping the bishop open and supports the other knight on f3. d into c4. This is an equal trade. b into c4. Rook e8. Rook e8 is a good move, but that is not the best move on the board. Better is to a6. Knight b3. Knight b3 is a dubious move and it is an inaccuracy. There is no good square for the knight from there. Bishop f8. Bishop f8 is a solid choice. Gives way for the rook for further attack and the black is planning to move g6 and pick out his bishop to counter white's bishop on b2. Queen d2. This is not the best move. Best move is knight d2 as indicated, but the plus point is now the rooks can see each other and coordinate in the attack. Knight e7. Knight e7 is a fair move. Knight e5. Knight e5 is a excellent move. Knight can exchange the bishop. g6. g6 is inaccuracy. Advancing the pawn in front of the king can compromise the safety of the king, but the bishop has to be developed. Bishop f3. So the bishop is placed in a more active square and it controls more squares from there. b6. This puts the pawn into safety. Rook f e1. Rook is placed in a semi-open file. This has more activity and more control. Bishop g7. Develops the bishop and gives a scope on the long diagonal. Rook a d1. Rook a d1 is an excellent move. White activates his last piece, bringing all the pieces into play. b5. b5 is a dubious move, pinning the knight by playing bishop a4 as shown. Is the best move on the board now. knight into d7. The strong bishop is exchanged now. Knight into d7. Knight into d7 is a good move and it is a equal trade. C into b5. C into b5 is a best and that is a free pawn. Knight b6. Best blockade for the pawn. Knight a5. Knight a5 is a fine move. Knight c4. This mobilizes the knight, allowing it to control more square and attacks a5. Knight into c4. Rook into c4. This is a straightforward recapture. Queen d3. Queen d3 is to drive away the rook and it gains a tempo when it moves away. Rook c8. Rook c8 is the best move available on the board. Avoids a clear danger. a4. a4 is a excellent move. Actually forms a pawn chain. There are better moves in the board. Bishop can be moved to a3 and attack the knight on e7. Queen a5. Queen a5 is a excellent move. Now the rooks can see each other and allow them to provide mutual defense. Queen b3. Queen b3 is a best move. Provides it defends the pawn and as well as the bishop from any sort of rook e d8. Now the rook is put into the semi-open file. This is the more active square for the rook. g3. g3 is a very good move. Now the bishop can move to g4 or g2 where it has got more activity. Knight d5. Knight d5 is a good move, but better is knight f5. Rook c1. Rook c1 is a dubious move. Better to play rook a1. Knight b6. Knight b6 is a very good move. Now the a4 pawn is attacked twice. d5. d5 is a very good move. This is one of the good moves, but there are other good moves are also there on the board. Namely bishop c3. Bishop into b2. Black finds a pawn, winning a tactic with just few seconds on the clock. Queen into b2. E into d5. E into d5. Black wins a pawn. Queen f6. Queen f6 is a very precise move. Queen into a4. Black swallows the second free pawn. Rook c7. Best option was rook into c8, then threaten for mate. Rook f8. Rook f8 is a great move. This prevents the opponent from being able to force a eventual checkmate. Now rook into c8. Rook into c8. Rook e7. Rook occupies the 7th flank and now we know why bishop g2 is not played, because to have a breathing space for the king. Rook f8. Rook f8 is again a very good move. This stops the opponent from being able to force a eventual checkmate. h4. h4 is an excellent move. Better to attack the king side now. h5. h5 is a miss. This leads to a loss of pawn and also it misses the opportunity to grab a free pawn as shown. King g2. Bishop into h5 is the only good move on the board. Queen c2. King c2 is a blunder and it loses the pawn. g4. g4 is a miss. Missed the opportunity to punish a mistake. H into g4. Bishop into g4. d4. d4 is a blunder. This loses material. Bishop e6. Bishop e6 is a brilliant move. Sacrificing the bishop was the right idea. This wins material. Queen e4 check. King g3. Queen into e6. Rook into e6. F into e6. Queen into g6 check. King h8. Queen h6 check. King g7. Queen e5 check. Rook f6. Queen into d4. King f7. h5. Knight c8. King g4. Knight e7. This misses a chance to win the knight, but the position is still winning for white. Knight e7. f4. f4 is an excellent move. Always better to push the passed pawns in the end game. Rook b6. Rook b6 blockades the other pawn. Queen d4 check. Defends the pawn that was under the attack king g7, queen c5. Queen c5 is a very strong play. Knight g8. Knight moves to safety. King g5. Instead of king g5, queen g5 check is better. Knight h6. Queen e5 check. King f8. h8 check. Knight g8. h6. Rook into h6. That pawn was free for the taking. Queen into h5 check. It is a brilliant move. Queen was sacrificed and it is a stunning move. Knight into h6, king into h6, king e7, king g7. It is technically they called position. This prevents the opponent from being able to gain a position to secure a draw. King e6, king g6. After that, black resigns. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Please subscribe so that you can see many more beautiful games of world champions. Thanks for watching once again.